So a couple of months ago, I created a poll asking which Genshin character was the least represented on YouTube. And while Hazel won the initial polls, after checking the comments section, a lot of people mentioned Mika being one of the characters that got released, but then got tossed aside with no one really talking about him anymore. To be honest, it also doesn't help since Mika literally doesn't appear anywhere in the game besides events. So there might be players that join Genshin without the knowledge that he exists. With that being said, this is why I decided to scrap my initial plans of building Hazel to building Mika. Don't worry, Hazel will get his chance to shine in the future. So throughout the last 30 days, I learned quite a lot about Mika. A lot of people associate him as a physical support, but Mika is one of the only dedicated attack speed buffer in the game. As you will see in the video, this makes his unique role perfect for certain team comps in the game. Besides playing Mika as a support, I also brought out his full potential by building him as a DPS character. Even though this is not a meta build, it is fun trying out unusual builds in Genshin, since the most important thing is to have fun, right? And let me tell you, Mika changed my whole perspective with Genshin. So make sure to stick around and watch this video to find out why. Without further ado, here's how I brought Mika from 0 to hero in 30 days. So I started out day 1 by putting Mika in a Raiden team. At this point, I was just trying to get a grasp of his skills and what he offers to the team. I went around the Sumeru Desert area to see if Mika is a fun guy to play. Even though Mika is a Mondstadt character, his boss material is the Weenut, which is a bit weird. Nevertheless, I went with the same Raiden team to take on the boss. Well, this boss is pretty annoying with how much it enjoys hiding. So this is definitely going to be fun. Thankfully, the boss only took a bit to handle before we successfully defeated it. If there's any time that I want to get 4 drops, it's now actually. Oh, I actually got it, wow. Because I don't want to fight this boss for that many times. Starting out with a pretty nice luck. Anyways, I spent a majority of my residence day 1 on a Weenut boss. And surprisingly enough, our very second run happened to be this. Wow, 2 times the charm, okay. I'm pretty sure the rates of getting 4 drops are pretty low, but I got it back to back, so now I'm at 8. Saved me a run or 2, I guess, in the long run. After defeating the boss a few more times, I decided to start building Mika. And it was here that I made a discovery. Okay, so Mika's level 2, but let's see if we can actually level him up to 20 at least. I actually just realized I have 100 million Mora on this account. So you can see how I don't really build my characters, I guess, and also my books. I challenge you to also give this video more likes than however many heroes wits I have. And I have 8,174, so I doubt you guys can actually surpass that. After that, I just ended my first day and logged out. So on the next day, I decided to check up on my current progress. Let me just ascend him real quick, get him to level 50. But yeah, I think I could probably go and then just continue a few more bosses so I can have enough to level him up a little bit more. I'm also gonna farm some wolf hooks. And since we're able to just track the berries, it's definitely like a bit more convenient. And also, since I have Mika, his passive enables us to look at where the local specialties are at in Mondstadt. Okay, so with only a few days of Mika experience, let's see how good I am at the 360 no scope. I failed. Maybe I should see how far I can take this Favonius lance weapon. It's level 20 right now. I just needed to get to like at least level 50. Then we're golden. Okay, so for his talents, let's get it up to like at least level 4. And I also want to level up his normal attack because I'll probably build him as a DPS. So yeah, 444 for now. I equipped some artifacts on Mika. Just gonna stick some few Pill Flame artifacts on him for now. I also went around Natlan to test out my physical build. His normal attacks animations are surprisingly like satisfying.
Enemy spotted.
Okay. I spent the rest of the day exploring and this happened. No, I didn't even get a chance. Oh, wait a sec. It's gonna respawn back up, I think. I know from experience. Oh, afterwards, I just ended my second day here. I started the next day by farming the Weenut again. At this point, Mika was at level 60, so he's getting raised slowly but surely. After defeating the Weenut, I was able to level him up to 70. I used the boss's respawn time to do some dailies, and also tried out Mika in combat. At this point, I didn't really notice much of a difference with his attack speed buffs. But as a physical DPS, he was doing alright with around triple digit damage each hit. After that, I brought him to a domain, which we quickly cleared. After I finished building my talents, I returned to Mondstadt to try out my Mika's crossbow mastery. And unfortunately, the pigeon got the best of me again. Disappointed, I logged off for the day. So I started the next day by warming up against the arena boss. Since I use this boss as a warm-up every day, you can pretty much expect the same outcome for the fight. I was actually rewarded with a pretty nice artifact, so that was nice. I decided to swap to a physical DPS build with Mika, and I managed to come up with a decent build for my level. To maximize his damage, I also went ahead and built a proper team around him. I went around Fontaine to try out his physical build, and surprisingly, he started doing way more damage than before. Even though physical isn't really meta, it still feels nice to be able to play Mika as a DPS. And watching him do damage was satisfying. But since we're only on day 4, I am pretty optimistic about the future as I intend to build him in a variety of different ways. Since I still needed to level up Artikinos' polearm, I went to fight a statue enemy with the same team. This particular enemy was a bit tankier, especially with its shield. But since Mika is also a healer, I had no problem with survivability. I started out the 5th day by changing Mika's artifacts. As you can see, I decided to swap to a Pyro DPS build with the Crimson artifact pieces. This build had a relatively low crit rate, but I decided to go with it by challenging the Cryo Flower boss in Mondstadt. With Shenyun and C6 Bennett, I can basically try out a Plunge DPS build with Pyro Infusion. And damage-wise, it was pretty good, as I was able to hit 74k. Even though I wasn't able to one-shot a boss yet, I had a little fun and finished the boss off with Mika's crossbow shot. On day 6, I decided to change Mika back to a support build. I gave him the 4-piece Nobless set to see how well he can buff Razor, and I took this team to the Natron talent domain to continue my farming. Damage-wise, Razor was hitting 10k easily, but I also noticed the normal attack speed increase, even if it was only a little bit. With a full 4-star team and Natron's HP increase on enemies, this team did struggle for some time in its domain, but we were eventually able to beat it. With 1 week under our belt, I decided to try and take Mika to further heights by first leveling up his skill to level 7. This also increases his attack speed buff, but just by a little bit. So hopefully it will be more noticeable for my characters. So now that Mika's skill is at level 7, hopefully he can actually help boost attack speed a little bit faster. To test things out, I decided to use a Yoimiya team. I kept the support Mika build and went to farm for some talent materials in Mondstadt. This domain was pretty easy with Yoimiya, and I actually felt the attack speed increase for Mika's buff. It was nice to experiment around with this team. Alright. Damage-wise, pretty good. And my attack speed is 19% faster, so I'm able to one-shot this thing. I went around Natlan hunting some enemies, and got some nice farming done for the day. I definitely want to use Yoimiya more often because of my attack speed being faster, because it feels more fluid. I also realized something about Mika. It would definitely be nice if I had C4 or C5 Mika though, because I'll be able to get his skill level higher, which directly correlates to him having more attack speed. Since if I enhance his skill again, it'll be level 20. But I'm not sure what a maximum stat is though. It might just be 20% attack speed bonus. But we'll see. On day 8, I decided to build Mika as a physical DPS. So I gave him the physical damage artifact sets. Pretty nice build. 80% crit rate with my physical damage. So we'll see how this team does. For Mika's team, I decided to first experiment with this. Without buffs, Mika was hitting around 2k damage with each normal attack, which is okay for the most part. But then I realized a problem. I don't think I'm actually triggering superconduct, so I might have to switch some team. I decided to substitute Rosaria in since she also benefits physical teams. I immediately see the improvements with Rosaria. Only problem with physical is that I'm not really able to destroy the shield as fast as I want. But damage-wise, I'm actually doing better because of Rosaria's physical bonus buff and also superconduct. So I'm hitting like 8,000 now and 10,000, which is really nice. With just my normal attack, especially. So yeah, not bad. Part of the improvement was also because of C6 Yun Jin buffing my normal attacks. But Mika was able to deal a nice chunk of damage. So I decided to build Yun Jin as well. Are there any defense polearms? There are, okay. Because I actually might enhance this weapon just so I can get better defense. Get stronger normal attack damage because Yun Jin's normal attack buff is based on her own defense. After that, I went to farm the weapon essential materials. In a way, I'm sure these ruin type enemies have like physical resistance, so I'm a little bit scared of this thing. Initial damage wise, I'm only doing like 2k with only super conduct. Against a robot enemy, I was able to deal decent damage to it. 8,000, not bad. Based off of the physical resistance, still able to do like decent damage. Even though this team buffs Mika's normal attacks really well, it does have some problems. It's really hard to get like a proper rotation in. That is definitely rough, but I think I found like the source of my problem. So yeah, right now I'm hitting like around 4 digits still, but if I enhance Yun Jin's weapon to level 90, hopefully I'll be able to get... Oh, hello. Hopefully I'll be able to get 10k physical attack on Mika consistently. Anyways, I started leveling up the polearm. Surprisingly enough, I can get this weapon to level 80, but I could also farm some of these materials, I guess. I also just continue using the same team because why not? Oh no, okay, it's my arch nemesis, the Explodey robot. With Yun Jin's polearm at level 80, I was able to deal more damage. So I guess there is a little bit difference now that I level up Yun Jin's weapon to level 80. But the difference isn't really that big, honestly. Maybe I'll get better damage by leveling Mika up to 90 and also enhancing some of his normal attack talents. I started out day 9 by maxing out Yun Jin's weapon. Alright, I have 51% defense now. I'm actually not sure how to refine this weapon because I don't have any of these other weapons. Let me see if I can actually craft it because I do get more defense if I refine a weapon. Wait, is this even a weapon? No, it's not. Okay, I don't have any recipes for it, which kind of sucks. I might need to find a recipe for it. So I'm going to go find a blacksmith and hopefully be able to... Oh, I got dailies here. Hopefully I'll be able to buy the recipe from him directly. But I don't know where the blacksmith is at. Is he down here somewhere? As embarrassing as I'd like to admit, I got really lost trying to find him. Oh, this door doesn't open? I've been waiting here for like a good 5 seconds. Okay. I was actually lost for quite some time, but we found him. So which weapon is this? We need this one. Okay, so I need more of these flowers apparently. So I can't afford it because I only have 4 of these. Apparently, I need to find Ember Cores in. I headed out to find some Ember Core for Yun Jin's weapon, only to find out that I needed to do some quest. Wait, I don't see anything. What? Oh. Am I in the middle of a quest? Hey, Saurian Pet is not answering or talking to me. Nothing is happening. I think it's digging. Oh, there's another hole here. Okay, I actually didn't see it. All that for, I guess, 30 Primo Gems, but the seeds didn't grow, which kind of sucks. Because I thought I would have gotten 3 here. So after I completed a quest, I still didn't get any Ember Cores, but I got some Primo Gems. Luckily, I managed to find some Ember Cores in another location. After that, I managed to collect 10 Ember Cores. I got all my Ember Core flowers, but apparently there's some kind of quest here. While doing this quest, I also tested out Mika's damage, which is a lot stronger than before as I was hitting 4 to 5k without any buffs. This quest, however, made me regret my decision to do it. I already picked up the Ember Core, if that's what you were referring to. I kind of already took it. Do I really need to use it on the QQ sword? No. I have to. Wait, how many do I need? No! I got 10, but now I'm actually using all of them. So I need to collect more now. Okay, I mean, I'm glad that QQ sword is feeling better, but like... Seriously? Oh, I guess the 30 Primo Gems is worth it. Wait. What was that? Oh, purple artifact, I guess? Anyways, I collected the rest of the Ember Cores and returned to the blacksmith, only to realize... Well, the problem is if I have enough materials to even craft this thing. Well, pretty much expected. I don't have this thing. Well, at least I got a material here. I started day 10 by leveling up Mika's talents to level 8. And here, I discovered something. So the attack speed bonus does increase after 20%, which I'm assuming at level 13, which you get from having C5 Mika, you'll be able to get a 25% attack speed bonus, which is pretty significant. So if Hoyoverse is watching, we run Mika because I want to see 6. I switched to a support build for Mika. I'm back to a support build on Mika with the 4-piece tenacity set and tried a different team. Alright, so Razor's gonna be the DPS now. I'm curious to see how much damage I'll be able to do. I warmed up by fighting some fungi. So Razor himself is already able to do like around 7,000 damage, but his attack speed is a little bit slow. How about now? There's a little bit of increase, 21% specifically. The boss fight started off nicely, and Razor was dealing a considerable amount of damage, but we quickly ran into a problem. Well, going forward, I decided to play a bit more carefully. As someone that doesn't really play physical teams, I was really surprised by how much Razor could do. After that, I went around the desert to hunt for some enemies to fight. Mika's attack speed buffs definitely comes in handy since Razor's normal playstyle feels a bit sluggish. But being able to reliably deal 25k damage was really cool. To finish off the day, I went and challenged him with Magu Kenki. This boss doesn't really have any physical resistance, so Razor was able to deal huge amounts of damage. And the only problem I had was the boss running around. But overall, it was a nice change of pace, and I was able to finish the boss off without any problems. So I'm gonna try to do something kinda impossible. I wanna build Mika as a cryo damage character. And the only thing he does cryo with is his skill. We'll see how much we can do with his crossbow. And his crossbow only. So my goal is to do like maybe 50k. I don't know if that's like dreaming or not, but hopefully I'll be able to do 50k. Yep, on day 11, I decided to try something drastically different. I basically gave Mika the Gilded Dreams artifact set and a cryo damage goblet for this challenge. And we came up with a nice build overall. Okay, let's start looking for victims here. I'm actually not sure how much damage I'll be able to do, but here's hoping I can actually do a good amount. So after I buffed Mika up, this happened. What? I hit a shield. Are you serious? This was actually so scuffed. But as the saying goes, never give up, and I finally got a solid hit off. 30k, okay. My next attack dealt the same amount of damage. 30k, okay, I think that's with all the buffs. But before I could continue, I decided to craft a potion to buff cryo damage. And I made some food to eat to further buff my damage. Alright, so I did cook some food. And hopefully this will just increase my damage high enough to the point where I can actually do 50k. We'll drink Nuvolet's flavor as well because he'll give us extra luck. So before I go fight, this is our current stat now, which is pretty high, and our cryo damage is 71%. Hopefully with my food buffs, Mika will be able to hit more than 50k with his skill. And with that, Mika was able to complete my goal. And my damage? 57, okay. Yeah, I guess we have to thank Nuvolet's broth for allowing us to deal 57k. Anyways, I continued on my challenge to see if I'll be able to deal even more damage against the Skara weekly boss. After downing the boss, the fateful moment arrived. So I have all my burst up. I should not mess up. $60k. And yeah, that was Mika's cryo damage with his crossbow. And I was able to hit 66k in the end, so I was happy. The next day, I decided to build Mika as a healer. So I started leveling up the Desert Sage's weapon. Alright, I think this is the max I could take this HP percent weapon. So I'll probably need to farm some of these Xuan Wind Beasts, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna be making a healer Mika build. I went with the Noblest artifact set for some buffing capabilities for Mika. And it turned out well. So yeah. We have 38k HP, and this is his healing bonus build, I guess. Apparently, there's some mythical beast enemies that's over here, so let's just make our way. Oh, I see them. Okay. They're kind of blended in the background. I also don't really use Ayato as much, so if my damage is too low, then this is probably why. And I think my Ayato is slashing a little bit faster because of Mika's attack speed buffs. Oh, there's so many chests here. So I guess if I just mark these enemies, I'll just find a chest then. And also Mika's heal works really well with Freminet. Can immediately max the fanfare stacks for this team. I was able to farm up a lot for the weapon materials. And I eventually maxed the weapon. And yeah, with this weapon we have 41% HP, which Mika now has 42k max HP. This is actually pretty nice. I might actually use Mika in co-op in the future days to finish off my build. On day 13, I decided to try a fun child build with support Mika. Alright, let's see what this team can do. Since child attacks with normal attacks, I wanted to see if an attack speed buff from Mika benefits him or not. You can see Very fast normal attack from Child, which is always very nice. This team was pretty satisfying to use, and we were able to complete the domain relatively quickly. Spectre farming was also pretty satisfying. Being able to see all those numbers were pretty nice. I spent the rest of my day playing around with Child, and while this team is not really your typical everyday team, I still had fun with it, and it made farming materials interesting. With 2 weeks under our belt, I started day 14 off by slotting Chongyun to my team. In order to make Mika a cryo DPS, I decided to build him with Blizzard artifacts, and came up with a good build. Right now I'm essentially already at 57% crit rate, but with a freeze build, I think I'm over cap, especially with the cryo resonance. So I might want to change the weapon to Staff of Homa instead. I mean, I'll test the two and see which one is better. The attack stacks from the PJWS or the crit damage stats. But for now, my build is like this, 263% crit damage, which is pretty insane actually for a healer build. And my team is going to be Mika, Chongyun, Yun Jin, and Freminet. Chongyun mostly for the cryo infusions. So we'll see how this team goes. With food buffs, my stats were actually insane. And this is our current stat, 283% crit damage and a 55 crit rate. So we should be able to crit a good amount. I'm interested to see how I will last against these Ruin Guards. The Ruin Guard enemies were definitely a challenge. Okay, this is actually bad. Right now, stamina so quickly. Okay, this is not good. I managed to actually deal some damage with Mika. Okay, I finally can test out my damage a little bit. I'm doing like 10k though, so I guess that's decent. After that, I went to fight a boss. I also challenged the same boss so I could compare the damage. Damage-wise, around 12k still. 15k, 16k, I guess. So it's decent, I would say. Freeze team with Mika was actually surprisingly fun. But I guess that just goes to show that playing these uncommon teams will do. I took this team to fight the Swanee, and it worked out really well. Okay, Shattering also works, so that's good to know. Even with this team, we were able to take care of the boss, so that was nice. On day 15, I decided to try out the Freminet team with Mika. So for this team, I unfortunately have to sacrifice Rosaria since Freminet kind of wants to use Shatter, which is why I'm bringing Freminet as well. That being said, I kind of forgot how to use Freminet, so I gotta relearn how to play him again. Damage-wise, Freminet was able to hit 10k without any buffs. So by himself, he's already able to deal a good amount, but with all the buffs, wow, that is a lot. I tried the Denzel Chicken boss with the same team comp, but disaster struck. Let's see how much damage I can do. What? No! Well, that's a fail. Luckily, my second attempt went by more smoothly, so I was able to properly test out my team. Not bad. 38k. I also got my burst back as well. Overall, I enjoyed Freminet's playstyle, so it was nice to try him out again. Okay, so today is the day where I actually get this skill to level 9. And I'm actually like curious though to see if I want to use a crown. Since right now I'm at level 9, and if I crown Mika's skill, I'll be able to get 22% attack speed bonus. With a little bit more than 2 weeks of play Mika, I feel like he deserves his crown. I can't believe I have 32 crowns still and I'm crowning Mika, but it's gonna be worth it. Especially with the team I'm gonna try out today. So yeah. I barely crown anyone, but I feel like he definitely deserves a crown. I'm going to stay as a healer build for now with the 4-piece Noblesse and go into a team where you kind of don't expect but makes sense when you see it. So this is the Wanderer team. My Wanderer on this account isn't really actually like last strong because I don't have a 5-star weapon. I only have Wits of R5, which is honestly comparable to a 5-star weapon, but it doesn't have any attack speed increase, especially with no constellations as well. So we'll see how this will benefit Wanderer with a 22% attack speed we just get from crowning Mika. So yeah, I feel like the only unfortunate thing is that we don't have a sacrificial polearm. Like, I feel like if we have it, then that'll be really nice to our team for sure. But yeah, let's see how fast our damage can be. Okay, pretty nice, I guess. C0 Wanderer tends to attack a bit too slow for my playstyle. But Mika's attack speed buffs kind of improved him in various ways that I didn't think it would make a difference. But this is definitely one of the teams that you have to try it out yourself to believe. Okay. There are some resistant enemies here, so hopefully I can showcase more of my attack speed now. I can definitely notice the increase, which at C0 is pretty significant for a Wanderer. Makes him feel like C6 in a way, like the attack speed. Okay, let's see if we can one-shot this boss. I'm hoping though I can, because I don't want this boss to run away. Unfortunately, it was not enough damage. No! Okay, that sucks. Mika's role in this team is also perfect as an attack speed buffer and a healer, so he really works well overall with this team. Over the next few days, I tried my healer Mika out in co-op sessions. Interesting team, huh? Oh, we'll increase our teammates' attack speed, so maybe my current can attack faster now. I really wish though I'm the only healer in this team, because then I would have been able to see if I can solo carry as a healer. What? What? Okay then. I guess I didn't do a good job healing. Okay. Pretty nice and easy. And I got a decent feather to boot. I mean, I wouldn't really trust Arlecchino or Corinne though, because they both have Bond of Life, so they'll have to heal themselves. What? See, this is what I was saying. Well, Arlecchino, it's all up to you. Please, stay alive. No, don't stand over there. I also tried out a Klee team with Mika. It's kind of hard to like tell my normal attack if it's increased on Klee or not, because her attack's a little bit clunky. Overall, it was an interesting experiment. But let's just say I'll stick to different teams. On day 20, I gave Mika his physical damage artifacts once again. Since we already have around 19 days out under our belt, I think it's actually time to level up Mika's normal attacks. I'll probably stop at level 9 just to see how much damage that will take us to. 9, 10, and 10. I don't know if I will level him up a little bit more, but I think that's where I'll leave for the talents. So yeah, he's at level 90 now. And yeah, I'm gonna use the same team comp for Mika and just see how much damage it can do now. I started out by challenging the Nathlon bounty enemies, and let's just say it was not what I expected. Perilous bounty. Okay, there's a bunch of them. I thought it was only one enemy, but there's 3 of them. Hopefully I'm still able to like do damage though. 9,000, 10,000. Okay, yeah. Damage wise, I'm still doing a very nice 5-digit consistently. The enemies were hard and dealt a lot of damage, but luckily Mika can also heal. Come on. Alright. Thankfully, the first bounty was the hardest, since the second bounty was like a punching bag for this team. Hopefully this enemy doesn't have any resistance, so we can see our full damage potential. So I'm hitting like around 15k, 18k even. Oh, I just drowned it. Okay, that was easy. The last bounty was also another Saurian warrior who didn't have any physical resistance. Mika was able to hit upwards of 18k with his normal attacks, so that was really great. I started day 21 with my game plan for the day. Okay, so I swapped to the Crimson Witch of Flames artifact set again because I kind of want to do the Pyro damage Mika again. So we'll see how this will go. Alright. So I'm just going to go solely with melt damage and see how my reaction will do. The best part of having a C6 Bennett means that you can basically build Mika as a Pyro DPS. 30k with melt? Interesting. Okay. I mean, I do have Yun Jin and Shenhe with me, and they both have the capabilities to buff normal attack damage, so since I'm testing my normal attack damage out, I went to challenge a harder boss. Damage-wise, Mika was able to do upwards of 30k if I crit. Wow, my crossbow did 30k. That's pretty nice. There were some issues with his team, however. So I was able to do like around 38k as my highest normal attack damage, which was really nice. Definitely a tricky rotation for this team though, so I wouldn't really recommend. It's just like a fun meme team to see how much Mika can do. To help with reaction damage, I substituted Shenhe out with Shincho and went with a vaporizing team instead. This team had a more reliable way to deal reaction damage, and we finished off the boss with ease. Alright, so I'm changing into the Plunge team, but since my Xingyu is still level 80, we're just gonna use this Mika Plunge team to try to get her some materials for her ascension. With 21 days behind me, I thought it was time to see how much damage Mika could do. Alright. Not sure if I'm melting though. 100k? Okay, I think that was a melt. Yeah, that was definitely melt. It was nice to see Mika finally dealing 6-digit damage. But let's just showcase this that you don't have to restrict how you build a certain character to achieve results. Next, I went to test out my damage against another boss. Now let's see our damage. 80k. It ran away. 90k. So Melt definitely did more damage still earlier. This team does run into some energy issues, but with a better build, I could probably be more consistent with the Plunge team. Alright, I'm gonna change back into a Cryo DPS build. On day 23, I decided to experiment with a completely different team comp. I gave Mika the Gilded Dreams artifact set. So yeah, this is our build. I'm back to using a Cryo Plunge team. Hopefully my Xiangling has enough energy because she will need it for sure. Just want to see how this team will perform. With a reverse melt Cryo Plunge, let's see how this team is compared to my previous teams that I did. But yeah, let's see our Plunge damage though. 40k. Yeah, even though this team isn't as strong as a normal melt team, it was still nice to deal cryo damage with Mika. Fighting a Pyro Hypostasis gives us infinite Pyro application, so Mika will be able to do a melt reaction every plunge attack. But yeah, ultimately 50k is our limit here. Lastly, I finished things off against the Primo Joe Bishop. 53k, yeah, I think that's like a maximum I can do right now. So I'm back to my healing Mika build, and this time I'm going to be using him in a team with Risley. So this is like the premier freeze team. I also believe that Risley is strong enough to deal with a local legend, so here goes nothing, I guess. Hopefully my freeze will be able to perma-freeze a boss. Well, you're about to watch my famous last words, because even though this team on paper should be able to freeze, this boss refuses to cooperate, which plays a huge role in my suffering. On top of that, it doesn't help when this boss is very mobile. Alright, please don't move. What? Luckily, our damage was consistent enough to deal with the enemy. Although this is a very painful fight that I'm experiencing right now, our heals are probably the best to take away. As I said that, okay, clutch heal. As I said that, I almost just got like killed again. I also went to farm some domains. Damage wise, this team definitely racks up a punch, and I was able to clear the domain easily. My attack speed buff was not really noticeable, however. But other than that, this team works well. Okay, so it's time to finally use my Eula and see how this team can perform. She usually relies a lot on her burst damage, but since my normal attack is at level 9, I might just actually use a normal attack focus DPS team. Raiden is for the superconduct, Yun Jin for the normal attack buff, and Mika for the attack speed. So yeah, let's see how this team will work out. I started off by fighting the Kongamoto, and damage wise, Eula was consistent. Mika's attack speed buff is kind of noticeable with Eula, so it definitely improves her gameplay just by a little. Alright, I'm gonna go fight a harder enemy, but hopefully I'll be able to stay alive. So yeah, wish me luck. So far, Eula's normal attacks hit the hardest, but that was pretty much as expected. After a long and grueling fight, I was able to defeat the boss. But yeah, I definitely needed more experience playing Eula to properly showcase this team. But all in all, her physical damage was really good. On day 26, I attempted a Spiral Abyss. I only did floor 11 since I wanted to try out my physical team. This is my favorite Mika build so far, because it just showcases how much damage you could deal without any reactions. And even with proper support, it can also do really good damage as well. There were some limitations though, because when I had to go against multiple targets, physical Mika definitely fell a bit short, as I was only able to target one enemy at a time. But even with the shortcomings, Mika was able to slowly but surely defeat all of the enemies presented here. The final chamber gave me the most trouble. The Hydro Eidolons were really tough. Coupled with their high damage, this was a really tough fight. Luckily, after I defeated one of the enemies here, the battle got easier. I spent day 27 exploring and farming with a physical Mika build. I also went to do some boss damage testing, and I can proudly say that we've definitely come far from the very first day. I spent most of the day just running around Teyvat and farming materials. This was oddly relaxing. Even though I couldn't one-shot most of the enemies here, I still had a lot of fun being able to utilize everyone in the team. I started day 28 by maxing the Aquila Voltyea weapon for Freminet. I tried out a Vaporize team again, and compared to physical, my damage had a higher ceiling. Overall, this team was a fun team to use. By normal attack standards though, I kinda prefer physical damage. But occasionally vaporizing with Mika was also fun because I got to see some high damage numbers. I got a good amount of farming done as well, in preparation of the final days of this challenge. On day 29, I returned to the Spiral Abyss. So with my month-long experience trying out a variety of different teams and builds of Mika, I decided to bring Mika to the spotlight as the main DPS for floor 12. Okay, so this is my floor 12 Abyss lineup. Hopefully this will be strong enough in the first half, but if I don't get 3 stars, then it's okay since I just want to beat Abyss with Mika. The current Abyss is going to be challenging, but here's hoping that my Vaporize plunging team can surpass their limits. Alright, so my plunges are doing like around 50k? 100k? Not bad. Against the Saurian boss, this team worked surprisingly well. Yeah, damage-wise, I'm actually fine with what I'm doing right now. But surprisingly enough, our first half is going by pretty nicely. My Vaporize team was also dealing upwards of 90 to 100k each plunge. The first wave in Chamber 2 was a pain, since I wasn't able to one-shot them. But this meant I was ready for the boss with all my bursts. Come down please, thank you. 80k. I'm kind of missing my crits a little bit. Got 100k though, which is nice. Oh, nice. I got lucky. I was just shooting my crossbow for fun. Time-wise, it was pretty tough. But this boss was overall a pain to deal with. The final chamber was made up of a few elite mobs, so it was easier than the earlier chambers. In the end, Mika was able to finish the last enemy off. Alright, overall this abyss is okay. Didn't get my 9 stars, but that is pretty much expected. Finally, on the very last day of the challenge, I went to challenge one of the Natlan's local legends where I can test out my damage with Mika. I brought a Plunge Vape team since it was the highest dealing damage team. In case you didn't know, in this challenge we could defeat the enemies in here to gain stacks, which will make us deal even more damage. The only thing we had to watch out for was each stack that we had, we would take DOT damage. And I managed to rack up 10 stacks. Let's see my damage. 300k. I can't even plunge properly. But yeah, 300k damage. Pretty impressive. 280k. So I think my best damage was 300k against this boss. The way we finished off this boss was also pretty poetic. Oh, 69k I think for Mika's skill. Mika really changed my outlook with Genshin. As someone that has all the characters in the game, the content in general got too easy. But as I spent the last 30 days building Mika and being able to challenge myself trying to reach new heights with him, it made Genshin more fun and rewarding in a way. When I first started this 0 to Hero challenge with Mika, I didn't expect myself to actually enjoy a physical build this much. So it was definitely eye-opening to see. And as an endgame player that can clear every content in the game, this brings out some variety to Genshin, and most importantly, reminded me of how fun Genshin could be. With Mika built, I can now dedicate another 30 days maining another character. If you watched this far and enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and comment your thoughts, or even suggest who I should build next. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.